In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 things I wish I knew when I first started painting in watercolours. I'm self-taught and I've been painting now for 4 years, and it's definitely been a long process of learning how to paint in watercolours. So I wish I'd known these things before I got started. And this is why I'm sharing these with you today, because I want these to help you build confidence with painting in watercolour much faster than I did when I was a beginner. The first thing I wish I'd known is that I could mix my colours. So instead of using them straight from the pan like I did when I was a beginner, where my colours were mismatched of all bright colours, because I always reach for bright colours, I just love bright colours, as you can see behind me. I wish I'd learned a little bit about colour theory and start mixing my colours and using more neutrals and then some bright or just one bright colour in my paintings, so that my painting isn't screaming loud and in my face and super bright. The viewer's brain is going to be really muddled looking at all these bright colours on the paper, and things can look quite unnatural because I like to paint animals. I'm learning more about colour theory, learning how to use a limited palette. My paintings have got so much better. When I first started painting with watercolours, I was also using greens straight from the tube or the pan. These are pre-mixed greens. Some of these are lovely, like I've got some lovely greens in my selection now. The problem with that is these greens can look quite unnatural and a little bit too in your face. So what I like to do now is I like to use a range of blues and yellows, mainly the blues or the yellows that I'm going to be using in that painting. Then that whole painting is going to match together. It's going to look more harmonious because you've got the same colours and you're limiting your palette. So now I like to mix my greens, and I'm going to be making a video on my favourite greens, on my favourite blues and yellows and all sorts. So that is going to be a series coming in the future. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe so you don't miss those videos. I believe that mixing your own colours is lots of fun. I definitely get lots of enjoyment out of it. The next thing I wish I'd known is that paper quality really matters with watercolours. If you've ever used any other mediums, you'll probably find that the paper quality doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm self-taught, so I took a lot of tutorials on YouTube, Patreon and Skillshare. And in my first few years, I found myself becoming very frustrated that my paintings never turned out the way that the artists I was learning from were. Does that make sense? It took me about 10 times to write that and say it as well. I'll be honest with you, I almost packed it all in. I even stopped painting for a while. I just thought I was no good at it. And this is honestly until I started using better quality paper. Don't get me wrong, some of the paper that I was using was student grade. It was budget paper, so it was more affordable and it was lovely. I was actually really happy with using it as a beginner, but some of the papers that I had as well were absolute crap. And I can't even go back to those papers now, even with practicing and doing colour swatches, because the paint just reacts so differently on those papers and I get so frustrated. If you're going to upgrade any of your art supplies, I would definitely focus on the paper first. I understand that it's scary when you're buying 100% cotton paper because it can be expensive, and honestly I've been there. It took me a long time to actually decide to get 100% cotton paper because I thought I am not paying that, but now it's all I will pay because I just think it's worth it. I just see it as an investment in myself because I get so much enjoyment out of painting on watercolour paper that's cotton now. I have got some lovely papers as well that are not cotton, so I will leave a link in my description box to the papers that I think are worth buying that are not cotton, and I'll also leave a link to my favourite cotton papers as well. So if you're feeling like your paintings are not turning out the way that you hoped, please don't give up. Honestly, I think just try the cotton paper. If you're getting results like backgrounds, cauliflowers, you're not able to lift the paint easily, or you're just not getting nice colour blends and harsh lines and things like that, please don't blame yourself. You're not a bad painter. Chances are it is your paper. So maybe try it and then see where you go. The third thing I wish I'd known is that I only need one paintbrush really for my whole painting. So as a beginner, I started off with a size 6 and a size 8, and they were just too small for me. I like to paint on A4 or A3 paper, so I needed a larger brush so that I could cover the paper quickly. Now that I'm more experienced, I much prefer to use 1 or 2, a lot of the time just 1, really good quality brush that has a nice shape. For instance, my favourite and most used brushes are pointed round brushes. Some of the brushes I have, like the Aqua Elite by Princeton and the Silver Black Velvet large size brushes, these are a 12 and a 14. so that they hold lots of water so I can paint for a while without dipping my brush back and forth into the paint. But they also come to a fine point so that I can use the same brush to paint small details. I will often be found using just one brush for my whole painting. On very tiny details such as whiskers, animal fur or animal eyes, I will use a small brush, usually a size 2 or a rigger. And I wish I'd discovered this sooner because it could have saved me a lot of money. I have a nice selection of brushes now, and it's just not necessary to have so many brushes. The reason why I do have so many is because it's taken me a while of trial and error to find the brushes that I'm totally happy with using. My favourite brushes are synthetic or synthetic blend brushes. I have used squirrel hair brushes in the past, but they're so soft and I just can't control the shape very well, so I got really frustrated. I'm going to do another video like this of 3 more things that I wish I'd known before I started painting in watercolours, and I can't wait to make that because I think this is so useful. I just want to help you as much as I can because I love watercolours, it is a massive passion of mine, and if I would have given it in, I just wouldn't have learned so much that I know now, and I'm so glad that I stuck to it. Have a lovely rest of your day, happy painting, thank you for watching, and give this video a like because then YouTube will show this video to more people and I'll get found better. So that's just one little way you can help.